Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Radio Show. Listen and grow as Dave questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Dave challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Dave Ramsey.
Welcome to Dave Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Dave Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Today, my friends, we're going to cover a multitude of topics here that I just want to get cleaned up, answer some questions before we go away for the weekend. Now, this is the last day that I'm going to be able to offer you this special to get into my 2-day this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday here in Houston, Texas, and if you want to attend, I've got that massive discount available out there for you. Normally, our membership is $740 for the first year and then $240 per year after that. That's we're going to offer you, or I'm going to offer you this actual special that you can get 2 years, which is $980 worth of membership for only $297, but you have to act on this now because this weekend's the class. Now, this membership's a 2-year membership. But what I'm trying to get you to do, and the reason I'm giving you the discount, is so you join up and come see me, because this weekend is going to be over the top with information. Everything you need to know, not only for a beginner to locate, evaluate, negotiate, contract, and close single-family and multifamily deals, how to put together partnerships and syndications, and what to look for. But also, it's my annual update, and I'm going to be specializing and really concentrating this weekend on the material that needs to update because of market conditions. That's one thing. And secondly, I want to overcome some of the mistakes that people have made because of market changes, explain to you how you could have avoided those and how to avoid them in the future, so that those of you that are afraid that, wow, these guys made some mistakes because the market changed on them, they didn't know what to do. Well, they did. I told them what to do. But I want to go over that. And I also want to go over why they weren't willing to make those changes and how you can overcome that unwillingness to do the right thing for yourself. So that's going to be in the seminar this weekend also. There's going to be a lot there. A guy sent me an email right now. It says, you mentioned you were going to have a talk on, I think, March 10th, which is what it is. This weekend's 9th and 10th of March, about things to watch out for in multifamily market, especially before I get into my first deal. And that's absolutely true, Kevin. I am going to be talking about that this weekend. You do not want to miss that. And I know you're already signed up for it, and I can't wait to see you, meet you. And real estate's like anything else. If you do it wrong, it's going to kill you. So some people, type A's, go, well, it looks so easy, I'll just get out there and start trying it. And other people like type B's go, man, that's so difficult. I don't think I could ever even do that, so I'm not even going to try. So you have the type A's out there, and they get out in this real estate stuff, and they have no idea what they do. And I remember the first time I ice skated, because I was born in St. Louis. I moved up to Madison, Wisconsin. Everybody skate, and they were skating since they were 2 foot high. And it's nothing. Forward, backward, spin, twirl, hockey, side slide, you name it, they could do it, and didn't even think about it. I got on those things, and man, those little teeth on the front of the skates just slammed me down onto the ground, and I'd get up and try again. It was awkward and felt terrible, and slammed me down again. I understand why you can't do this stuff. Your parents tried it. It slammed them onto the ground. They lost money. They were miserable. Your grandparents tried it. They were miserable, right? Everybody you know, your CPA said, well, it's a good idea to have real estate, but, it's really taxes, tenants, and toilets. It's got its downside too, and blah, blah, blah. And so everybody you know who hasn't done something can tell you how you shouldn't try it. That's the way it works. I know that if you talk to anybody about a diet, they'll tell you they don't work. Even doctors will tell you diets don't work, right? And yet they work perfectly well if you do them. You just have to do them, right? The beautiful thing about real estate is once you purchase it and set it up correctly and follow some basic principles with it, it's not like a diet. you don't have to stop eating for the rest of your life. It's like, hey, I changed my financial situation from dead assets sitting over here doing nothing over here to active assets producing great results. Now, what you can do at that point is just become lethargic and not do any more. And I've seen a lot of people do that, man. They go out there and they buy 2 or 3 rent houses. They say, wow, look, I'm making this money. I've got these assets. They're appreciating. I got the depreciation. I'm not paying tax on the money. That's pretty cool. Let me go play golf. Right? And I understand that. That's like me after, I used to diet. And I don't diet anymore because basically my life is a diet. My entire life's been a diet. So when I say diet, to me, it's a way of life. But I remember when I died for contests and stuff, man, you're just craving to get off of it. Every time you're doing something new, you get really excited about it. And then when it's all over, you go, wow, I'm glad that's done. Well, it's the same thing with anything, man. And making money is really somewhat of the same thing. Now, I know myself, being a type B, one of the most difficult things to do is to write a check and buy some more. Now, by the way, I just want to let you know, I've already closed one deal this year. I'm in contract with one more with one broker, and I'm in contract with 2 more with another broker. So I've already got 4 deals this year. So at the end of that 4, I'm going to tell myself, and I would be honest with you, after I did one and I had another one that's already, in contract, I said, maybe 2's enough for this year. Maybe 2's plenty, except for the fact that this is the greatest year to buy real estate since 2008. And that's why I have put this together. I'm going crazy on this stuff. I'm in contract to close 4 this year so far. I'll probably get 2 or 3 or 4 more. But why? Isn't enough enough? Yes, enough is enough. Until they dangle something in front of your nose is so good you can't say no to you seeing your net worth go up again and your monthly cash flow increase massively. That's when you can't say no. And what I want to do for you is get you in here so you can at least have the knowledge you need to make that decision, yes or no. I want to take advantage of these absolutely wonderful times. That's what I'm trying to do for you. So you've got to go to my webpage, DellHelpMeNow.com. That's DEL, DellHelpMeNow.com. Put in the promo code DEL for Dell. And the price will drop from $740 for 1 year to $297 for 2 years. You got to do that, and you got to do it now because tomorrow's the class. If you don't do it now, you're not going to get signed up. You don't want to miss out on this, okay? I'm just telling you. This is going to be the best seminar of the year, bar none, anywhere in the country for real estate investing. You want to come? It's going to be a big one. But let's get into this email here. This was a very interesting email to me. It says, I recently joined last week and I have signed up for the education session you're leading this weekend. That would be tomorrow, right? Saturday and Sunday. I'm 59. I have money saved in both a 401k and I have a home in blank. I'm not going to tell where it is. That is paid for. That's why I'm not going to tell what it is. As well as my current home in blank, which still has a mortgage on it. Equity in both homes plus my retirement would, on paper, put me in the ballpark of $1.5 million. But as you say, that's dead money until it's realized. My concern is that I am unsure if I'm a good candidate at my age, 59, at my age just to retire and live off of my savings and Social Security, or do I invest in real estate to replace my current income and not worry about depleting my retirement? Okay, so good question. I mean, hey, I got $1.5 million. I got Social Security coming. So you ask yourself, do you want to replace your earned income and keep your nest egg, or do you want to just live off of your nest egg? I mean, that's what most people believe retirement is, right? He goes on and says, I really like your program, but like the support that your group provides even more, as it would be a guide to me step by step in finding the financial future properties. I think I know how you would answer this, but at my age, I am concerned about the risk involved, and even though rule number 1 is don't lose money. That's absolutely right. And I'm not going to give out the guy's name because I didn't ask him to use his email this time. I talked to him personally. I actually talked to him on the phone, I think. which I do with a lot of people. I talk to most people that have real issues. This gentleman has a pretty big issue. His issue is it's a big decision. I've made it. I've worked my whole life. I'm 60. I've saved. I've got $1.5 million. Should I just shut it down and go into hibernation? And really, I'm almost 70, and I'm not in that mode yet. Now, everybody's different, okay? Everybody's different. But the bottom line is, to me, if you're used to living on $100,000 a year, which would be middle income for working class people, not everybody. If you look, median income in this country is about $56,000. But if you're a working class person, you don't average in the welfare people. $100,000 is probably pretty minimal. And so if you're going to live off $100,000, you're going to use that money up over a period of time. If you look at just sticking in a savings account, it's going to earn 4 or 5% now while interest rates are up. When interest rates go back down, they've got as low as 0.3. So if you just take a number, and it used to be they would tell you could retire, live off 4% of your money, draw down 4% a year. Now they're saying that won't work anymore. You have to draw down only 3%. So let's use the 4, which was historically the number. And at $1 million, that would be $40,000 a year. And $1.5 million would be $60,000. But that money's taxable. Well, if you're pulling it out of your 401k, that's right. It hasn't been taxed yet. So in that scenario, whatever that $60,000 is, you're going to give some of it up to the IRS. And then, of course, you've got some Social Security. So could he survive? Absolutely. He could survive on that and not have to take any risk at all. On the other hand, if you were at the case study last night, you saw a guy that took a fraction of that amount of money, just a small fraction, bought one apartment complex and retired. And which means if he takes a fraction of that money and buys some real estate, he could replace his earned income. In other words, if you earn just 10% on your money, that $1.5 million would be producing $150,000 a year. But what's different about it is it'd be tax-free income. That's the difference, because the way real estate is structured, if you do it the right way, bing, 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 right? Also, he's right that real estate has risk. And to do it, you have to set these things up the way I'm going to teach you to do it this weekend. And I'm going to make this point to him. In fact, David, if you're listening to this, I want you to focus in on and zoom in on when I say, okay, let's stop. Here's a point that needs to be made. This is how it works when I do it. This is how it works when the people who follow me do it. What could go wrong? You could make, well, that seems fine, right? But what if I just do this just to make it a little easier? Well, making it a little easier in that way makes it a lot worse in another way. So it's very important to understand. And also the other thing I'm going to teach this weekend is risk profiles. There are some types of real estate that have very, very little risk. And then goes way over to the other side of the profiles of stuff that has a lot of risk. And then, of course, you have other variables. You have market condition variables, which I'm discussing this weekend, and how we avoid those being a problem. And then you have people issue problems, right? Now, one of the ones that I saw in here in my stack, I don't know if it's an appropriate place to put it in at. Maybe it is. And the guy says, well, my fear is the government will change everything. And hey, guys, we've been doing this for 34 years. The government every once in a while gets a hair in the wrong place. I don't know how to say that. And, they do something stupid like COVID. Now, that was just people being stupid. And it's the Democrats trying to take total control over your life. There's a battle going on always for conservative people want control over the life and leave me alone and don't take all my money to pay for people that won't work. And then there's the other side, which is the aggressive people. They call themselves progressives, which believe socialism's the way it goes. We should give up half everything we earn. People that don't produce should get equal results as people who do produce. That's the other half of the world. And they've been in flux forever. The successful and effective people in this world make so much more money, 10, 20, 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times more than the ineffective people. And so the ineffective people want some of that wealth. And so what the guy was bringing up here, well, what if they come up with another rule, another law, another thing? Well, let me tell you this. During COVID, when they said that you couldn't evict people because if they didn't pay rent, because of COVID problem. Very few of us had a problem with that. Most of our tenants continued to pay, and those that couldn't, we put them on payment plans. We just made it easier for them to pay in small amounts and built up an account for them. Just like you have a credit card account, we built up some accounts for these people. But in my case, for example, I didn't have any problem. So other people had some. We'll talk about that when we get back. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Teaching you with a roadmap to creating the lifestyle you really want. Keep listening. The Del Walmsley Radio Show returns in moments.
There is a dream killer here somewhere today. You're going to run into somebody that's going to tell you this stuff doesn't work. Like Vanette said, it's a scam. This is probably a multi-level marketing program. Somebody is going to tell you it doesn't work because you're the wrong race, the wrong age, the wrong sex, the wrong sexual preference, the something or other. That this is all set up so rich people can be successful and all you poor people can't. And if you believe that, they've won. But if you don't, you win.
Don't believe the dream killers. Start winning today with the Lifestyles Unlimited free workshop. Get the knowledge you need to replace your income in 2 to 5 years, and then find out how to take action. Register for the free online workshop at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
You're hearing the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Want more life-changing knowledge? Access our podcast and listen on demand at lifestylesunlimited.com under the radio tab. Now your host, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to Del Walmsley Radio Show. As we went to break, we're discussing an email I got from a gentleman that's 59 years old. And he's asking himself, should he take the risk of investing his $1.5 million so that he can live a much better life? And we figured out at $1.5 million, if he could earn $60,000 a year with that at 4% return, then he had to pay some taxes on it, so it might go down to $50,000 a year, whatever his tax rate would be at that point. He could survive. It's a livable thing. But on the other hand, if you would have been to the case study last night, you would have seen rates of return anywhere from 50, 100%, infinite rates of return. In other words, massive rates of return. So if this guy only earns 10% return, which is just minimal, that's like the base minimum I would go into a deal for and end up earning, you're going to have $150,000 a year tax-free. So instead of 50, it's 150. You got 3 times the amount of money to live on, right? Now, you have to understand the difference between spending and investing. If you spend your $1.5 million to live off of it, it's gone. If you invest your $1.5 million, you have an asset. The asset's there. Now, if done correctly, the asset will appreciate over time. And my net worth just keeps going up. I've been retired for 34 years, and I guarantee you that I am so much wealthier now than I was when I retired. In fact, I get wealthier every year because rule one, and he brought this point up, rule one is don't lose money. So when I'm teaching this weekend, I'm going to keep emphasizing this. Okay, we can do all this really cool stuff, but don't lose money. Don't do it to that point. Don't do that. Don't do that. We can do all this, but don't do that, because that is how you lose money. And if you're right there with me and you got your ear to the ground, you're going to learn all of the most pertinent information. I almost said secrets, but it's not a secret. I've been teaching for 34 years. I have multitudes of people who have copied my seminar, are out there doing what I do, teaching what I teach. And most all of them are my ex-students. They're just expanding the information, right? But the bottom line is that you have to be able to move your educational material around with the marketplace. And what's happening right now, it's different than what was happening the last 2 years. Right now is the time to buy. Warren Buffett, I watched a video this morning. I was eating breakfast. Warren Buffett even says that this is the time to buy. He says it hasn't been this good since 2008. I go, gosh, I know I'm not Warren Buffett, but that sounds exactly like what I've been saying for the last couple of months now. It hasn't been this good since 2008. And the opportunities are there and they're getting better. So we want to know that and understand that, where we're going. Now, there's one other thing I think you need to understand about this. And that is, and let me see if I can find this here. It says, I really hope that this being election year, interest rates will come down in late summer. See, he's seeing it backwards. He's hoping interest rates come down so he can afford to buy a house. That's backwards. We want interest rates high so prices come down. See, if the interest rates go down, prices go up, you don't get any better deal. You just pay too much. When the interest rates are high, we get a better deal, and the interest rates are higher. But interest rates are dating. Purchase price is marrying. When we buy low, we marry into that low price. Will we put a higher interest rate on there? We're just dating that interest rate. We can get rid of that interest rate. If the interest rate comes slamming down, they'll refinance you out in a second. It's not a problem, right? If you do it right. But you have to know how to do it right so that you can get out of those loans and move back for lower interest rates when they occur. You also have to know how not to run into higher interest rates. Adjustable rate mortgages are the death knell of everybody. I've told people that for years, and yet people still do them, which is crazy. You want to sleep at night? Don't do adjustable rate mortgages. It's that simple. But Del, how do you do it if you don't do that? It's very simple. I don't use adjustable rate mortgage. No, neither does a very large portion of the people I do business with. It's just the greedy people that want to buy something and pay too much. Why would somebody be willing to pay too much? They're willing to pay too much because they're getting into it for the fees, or they're getting into it blindly. They don't know what they're doing, and they think if you just buy real estate, in and of itself, owning real estate will make you rich. That's not the case. You have to buy real estate the right way. You make money going into the deal on real estate. You can make money operating it by operating it better, and you can make money as inflation and appreciation kick in. But the way you really make money in real estate is you make the money going in. You don't overpay for the property. So let's talk about on the low end for a second. Guy called up Dave Ramsey one day. I got mad. He said, I just inherited $25,000 and I have a brand new pickup truck. What should I do? And Ramsey told him to pay the pickup truck off. I called up and I screamed and yelled to get online. They wouldn't let me on. But here's what I would have told the kid. And I actually did my next show. I said, look, take the $25,000, come over here, let us buy you a rent house and double that. Caps you $25,000 in equity. So now you've made $25,000 off your $25,000. And let's let the cash flow pay for your truck payment. That way, whenever this truck gets old, you just buy another one. And these rental properties will continue to pay for the payment. But in addition to that, you now have all this equity. You have these houses. You know, houses are average value of $200,000 a house. It's building equity. They're appreciating. They're growing. And not only that, the income that comes out of this is tax-free. So you're paying down your mortgage. That's one way you're making money, right? You have appreciation, which is, houses and apartments appreciate over a period of time. It really, we'll just call that inflation. You have forced appreciation, where we go in and fix something up and make it worth more instantly. We have captured equity, where we buy something below what it's really worth the day we buy it. And then, of course, we have rental income. And that rental income is covered by depreciation, so that it's tax-free. So we have tax-free passive income. That's 6 different ways to make money on real estate, each deal. You add those all together. 4% here, 10% there, 25% when we capture it, 50% when we capture it. Add it all together, and that's where you're going to see that the internal rate of return on these deals could be as high as 33% a year, 300%, or 100% every 3 years, as an average. Now remember, when someone makes unbelievable rates of return and someone else makes nothing, the average means nothing. The average only means something if that's what that or better is actually happening. But an average doesn't work that way. There are people out there that are doing real estate that don't know what they're doing. You know them. They're your parents, your relatives, your CPAs, your attorneys, your bosses. They've all tried real estate. have all failed because they didn't come to my seminar this weekend and learn how to do it right. Rule 1, don't lose money. Rule 2, there's got to be cash flow. And Rule 3, you can't get rich slow, which means there has to be giant capital gains involved in the deals. So let's do it. Go to my website, DellHelpMeNow.com, and put in the promo code Dell. Remember, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.